Yeah. Welcome to the first live episode of the Skol State of Mind podcast. Let's see who we gonna get in here today. Nobody just yet. Hope y'all saw the news. But Darian Lowe traded to the New England Patriots for a 6th round pick. That's cool. I mean, I'm thinking maybe we should bring in Leatherwood. Leatherwood just got cut from the Chicago Bears. Might need to bring him in as a depth pickup. I mean, I know he's not a starter, considering how where he was drafted before, but I mean, you you can use him. Let's just see what he got. Let's see what he got. Let's see if anybody else gonna come up in here with me. Holden, what's up, man? What's up, Holden? Hey, shoot me some questions, man. Shoot me some questions real quick, Holden. Let me know what's on your mind. Anybody else? We got two. We got two, huh? Got two, huh? Well, for the questions start rolling in. First off, hey, oh, Steggy, my boy Steggy's in here. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Yo, Steggy, shoot me some questions, man. Shoot me some questions, man. I'm open today. Open. My first live, all right? Shoot me some questions. Yeah. Hold on, y'all. Hold on, y'all. Just got done watching the Texans game. Okay. Yeah. The preseason right now is closing up right now. So I'm gonna give y'all some insight real quick. What I've been thinking, for the past couple of days. Look, considering that the NFL changed the rules and you don't normally be like cutting guys, like you cut a few guys throughout the week, or whatever, right? You're gonna see a lot of trades before Tuesday because certain teams who've been looking at certain guys, they might not want, to go through the waiver wire, you know, or whatever. All right, let's see. My boy Stecky got a question. Do you think the Vikings run game will be better overall without Dalvin Cook? No. This is my thing. Dalvin Cook is what you call a quote unquote bell cow running back, lead dog, whatever you want to call it. We're not sure if Alexander Madison is that just yet. I'm not saying he's not, but just because you exceed in backup roles, he's gonna have to play 17 games, and we don't know if his body can hold up, you know, or if he can go to the long run. But with that being said, I really want the Minnesota Vikings after all these cuts to actually bring in a veteran running back to kind of solidify the running back room because after Alexander Madison, I mean Ty Chandler, he hasn't had not too many offensive snaps. He's only second year. Dwayne McBride, same thing there. And Wango hasn't even really been in camp. So I think the running game might suffer, but we're going to wait and see. All right. Let's get to Holden real quick. All right. This is what I think about Ezra Cleveland. Okay. Yeah, I think maybe the Vikings should have explored trading Ezra Cleveland before the season started because I start hearing word basically saying that Ezra wanted to go back to being a tackle because tackles get paid more and he's been playing out of position for a while now. So if he doesn't get traded, in the season, he's just gonna walk for nothing. You could have basically got maybe a fourth or third round pick for him, whatever. So I think they shouldn't have traded, Cleveland in the offseason. All right, let's go. Let's go. Who else got some questions? All right, my wife is in here. Okay. What do you think about Kirk Cousins getting more media coverage since the Netflix documentary? Yes, this is probably going to be a gift and a curse within himself because I feel that Kirk Cousins is changing his narrative a little bit going forward. Like, I mean, they still say, Kirk Cousins doesn't win in prime time or whatever. But ever since the Netflix series, he's been more likable and he's like a fun guy, more outgoing or whatever. And I think basically that's going to help his brand a whole lot. So, I mean, the Netflix series kind of opened up, you know, the doors to Kirk Cousins, world, and I, I like it. It's cool. Oh, Skol Purple Podcast. All right, y'all. Skol Purple Podcast. That was a podcast I started on. Give a shout out to those guys for getting me started, doing, this podcast thing. I really appreciate them. They kind of taught me the ropes. So if you haven't subscribed to them already, subscribe to them now. Maybe in the future we're gonna do some, you know, guest host episodes. All right. So no more questions, no more questions. But yeah, my channel, I feel like it's been growing a lot. I've been doing a couple of lives with a lot of different, podcast guys. Shout out to Rap, shout out to Yogi, Mike Sports Vibes, In the Zone, all those guys. I was even on Dave's podcast early early Saturday morning. I just really appreciate the guys. Like, I just feel this Viking community, of curators is just kind of like they just get together and they just, help each other out and help everybody out for the bigger goal. We might not always agree, but it seems like we can come together and do our thing. So anybody else got some more questions out there? Guess not, guess not, guess not. So it's my first live. I'm gonna probably chop this up a little bit and you know, put it out there. Okay, my boy Stecky got another question. Okay, here we go. Does Jordan Addison slide into wide receiver two? No, because like this is what I'm thinking. I think the expectations for Jordan Addison is really high, and I think he is going to eventually get into that number two receiver role. But I feel KJ Osborne is a dog, man. Like KJ Osborne is that dude. So I feel like Addison is going to have to do a lot to take KJ off the field. But if you actually really think about it, last year they ran a lot of three tight end sets. So if they, start coming out with a lot of sorry, not three tight end sets, sorry, three wide receiver sets last year. If they come out there with a lot of three wide receiver sets, then it's kind of like he's starting anyway. I don't even think like we should look at him at like receiver two or receiver three. I think Addison and KJ is probably going to be receiver two A and receiver two B going forward. That's just what I think. Thanks, Tony. Thanks, Tony. But yeah, I appreciate, you guys coming in, you know, with my first live. I'm still kind of jumpy, getting this first thing going, but it's a work in progress, man. It's a work in progress. Anybody else got any more questions? Shoot them to me. Shoot them to me. All right, let me see. Okay. Says saw your video. Okay. Okay. All right, Carson. This is how I think about this situation, right? I mean, sometimes you get what you ask for, right? Like, I'm gonna throw the example out with like Mike Zimmer, right? Everybody wanted Mike Zimmer gone because he was a hard ass and he was a defensive guy. He never, popped his head in the offensive locker room or whatever, right? Then we get the complete opposite. Now we got an offensive guy and he just wants to basically push the defense on to somebody else or whatever. So, with that being said, like I feel we never dealt with any kind of holdouts, in the media or in training camp with Rick Spellman. Maybe because Rick probably was drafting majority of those guys and they were his guys. So I just don't like it. I don't like the whole TJ Hawkinson thing. And it's just basically like if you traded for a guy at the trade deadline, why are we still having a contract negotiation? You already knew with him coming in that he was going to be wanting another contract. I'm not really even uptight about him saying he wants to be the highest paid, tight end and reset the market, because you got to think about it like this though. These agent push that so they can basically say, oh, okay, this is what I got my client. I got my tight end. He's the highest paid, on the market right now. That's going to change when Travis Kelsey contract is up, or another tight end who's younger, a year or two down the line. I mean, I remember when Harrison Smith was quote unquote the highest paid safety. So I'm just really starting to look at Quasi a little bit different, because there's a lot. He hasn't really re-signed anybody outside of Kirk Cousins. We can't really say Daniil Hunter, because he just pushed more money up front. Okay, Bradbury. He re-signed Bradbury, and that's it. But are you guys really happy with him bringing Bradbury back? I mean, I want to see Quasi start taking care of business, because you got TJ's contract right now. That's an issue. You got JJ's contract. That's going to be an issue. And then you got Christian Darrisaw. Those last two contracts in Jefferson and Darrisaw are going to break the bank. And I hear a lot of people on social media, the Viking fan base is all like, trade for this guy, trade for that guy. And it's like, at this point, I really don't know if I can trust Quasi enough to trade for people and get them on this team and re-sign them long term outside of Bradbury and Kirk Cousins. But thanks for that one. All right, let's see what Holden got to say. Okay, it says, would you trade a player and another team for a backup or starter? If I can trade for somebody right now, um, it would probably be either a cornerback or offensive line. Um, I'm gonna throw it out there, right? I'll trade TJ Hawkinson right now for Xavier Howard. I'll call Miami right now and be like, look, we'll give you TJ Hawkinson, give you guys a security blanket, pair him with Jalen Waddle and Tariq Hill. He's a way better, you know, pass catching tight end than Mike Saseki. He can block a little bit, but I give you a third pick with Hawkinson and you give us Xavier Howard back. I mean, if you think about that, now you got really two starting potential corners, because look at, I mean, we're scared of what's going to happen to a Caleb Evans when he actually gets hit. I mean, he had like 3 concussions last year. But if you compare Xavier and Howard with Brian Murphy Jr. and you put Blackman in the slot, I like that. And he's a Flores guy. That's what I would do. TJ Hawkinson for Xavier Howard. Okay. Carson said, I think he's trying to be careful not to get us into bad situations. Yeah, we already there. I feel like we already there. I feel like we already there. We didn't kick the can down with so many players, so much. It's kind of like one of these years is probably going to be really bad, because they're going to have to, pay out all these void years and play players to play for other teams, because we don't kick the can, down the line so many times. Yeah, I agree. I agree with you with that one on, Carson. Yeah, I think so too, Tony. I think so too. I think, but that's what I'm saying with Quasi. Like, why even give up a second round pick for a rental if you knew you couldn't re-sign them? Like, you knew we was gonna be having, cap issues. Like, why do that? All right, got Erica saying what TJ came in clutch. Yes, he did come in clutch last year, but at the end of the day, we all got to understand that the NFL is a business first. It's a business. So, it is what it is. How many yards and touchdowns do you think Justin Jefferson is going to get this season? Okay. That's kind of like an open-ended question, because I feel last year, JJ was just that dog. Now you're going to bring in Addison, and KJ is emerging as a legitimate number two. So I think, to be honest, I feel Justin Jefferson is probably going to get somewhere near probably like 1,600 yards and maybe like 5 to 6 touchdowns, because I feel like I want the other guys to eat too. I'm really thinking this year we're going to have multiple pass catchers with 1,000 yards. I'm not sure if it's going to be TJ if he's on this team. I'm not sure if it's Addison, and I'm not sure if it's KJ. But I think it's going to be two guys with at least 1,000 yards. JJ will be one of them. He will lead the team in receiving and maybe touchdowns, and somebody else will get 1,000 yards too. So 1,600 yards for Justin Jefferson this season and about 5 touchdowns. All right. All right. Anybody else in here in the chat, got any more questions? All right. All right. All right. This has been fun, man. This is fun. I'm gonna have to do more lives, man. I'm gonna have to do way more lives. This, this is a lot of fun. All right. Okay. Okay. Should we trade Jordan Hicks away? Holden, I'm so glad you asked that question because me personally, I'm I'm not big on Pace and Asamoah. And I understand like it's training camp and these guys, make a lot of flashes here and there, but it's just real hard for me to buy into smaller, linebackers because if those linemen, reach the second level, he's done. Some of these tight ends can wash him out. Some of these receivers, like a Mike Evans, can basically wash these guys out. And Hicks is you know, he's a starter, he's a veteran. So I wouldn't want to give Hicks away because once these guys, Asamoah, and Pace, I feel like if they're not blitzing, they're gonna probably get washed out in the run game a lot. So we're gonna need a veteran like Hicks to kind of solidify that if he can. I just like at the end of the day, it's just kind of weird to me because it's like they actually, gave Hicks the pay cut to come back, and he was getting beat last year too. I would have liked to keep Eric Kendricks over Hicks. I thought, they was going to cut Hicks and maybe restructure Kendricks, but you know, that didn't happen. But now, to answer your question in short, I wouldn't trade him away because I think we need a bigger linebacker in certain packages. Okay, boy Steggy. Okay, yes. Jonathan Taylor. Nah, Jonathan Taylor's not coming here. It's too expensive. If Okay, Viking fans, look, this if you really want Jonathan Taylor, then we shouldn't have kept Dalvin Cook. Straight up. We shouldn't have just gave Dalvin Cook a little money or whatever, made him happy and kept him if you wanted Jonathan Taylor. Because Jonathan Taylor is going to break the bank or try to break the bank, wherever he goes. And just like I said before from the other questions, do we really trust Quasi enough to trade for a guy and re-sign him? We already got TJ Hawkinson in a contract dispute. So why would we trade for another guy and have to give him a new contract too? But I would um Kareem Kareem Hunt is cool. I don't know what he's asking on the open market. It's just kind of hard right now too because it's like the season's only like 2 weeks away. I know like these roster cuts, it's gonna be a lot of surprise guys that's gonna get cut. So I think maybe like Tuesday, right after the cuts or Wednesday, like you're gonna see a couple of guys become available. But I'm open to Kareem Hunt because it's like I just want the Vikings to actually get a veteran running back in that running back room because you just can't have Madison and basically three guys who haven't had any offensive snaps. Like I'm not downing them. I'm not saying that they are not capable. All I'm saying is solidify it by bringing in a veteran running back that can probably spell Alexander Madison here or there, and there you go. Like yeah, but Kareem Hunt is on my list. Uh, Said agreed. Yeah, yeah. Too much money. Yeah, Carson. You said that all the time, man. You know you don't pay running backs. You don't pay running backs. Yeah. Hey, we seeing it right now. Running backs are not getting paid. Yeah, 3 to 4 million. That's not bad for Hunt. That's not bad for Hunt. Like I would do it because you got to think about it like this, though, Tony. What happens if Alexander Madison gets hurt? Are you okay with Ty Chandler and Dwayne McBride and Wangu, if he's healthy, out there with Kirk Cousins. I don't want that, man. Just bring a veteran in, even if he, is just there for a couple of carries a game. That's fine with me. Here we go. Hold on. I mean, Vadarian Lowe was a 6th round pick, so you got a 6th round pick back. I mean, that's just how I look at it. I think that the Vikings are going to look for other guys who've been cut to replace him and try to get basically more swing tackles or whatever. Like it's to me it's no biggie. It's just 6th round pick for a 6th round pick. You didn't lose nothing there. But I really want the Vikings to bring in Alex Leatherwood just to see what he got. On the bench in rotation, as a backup. Let's see what happens. Because if you think about it right now, I mean, the only other backup that we of name worthy on the Vikings right now is Oli Udo. So you got to bring somebody else in. Okay, Skol podcast said, I really want to see the young running backs room work. I'm not saying that it can't work. All I'm saying is bring in a veteran, you know, just in case you start seeing problems, because some of these guys are already hurt. So maybe here we go. McBride hasn't looked good during the preseason. I'm good with Chandler, but depth is an issue. Yeah, depth is an issue at the running back position. And that's crazy because it's like you never thought like the Vikings would deal with a depth issue at running back just because they, released Dalvin Cook. Like, I understand like running backs are not getting paid like they used to, which is fine. And I'm cool with that. But you still can't neglect the position. Like, don't just neglect it and not even sign anybody worthy to actually play on your team because you still, you know, need running backs. Um, Leatherwood actually got cut from the Chicago Bears, so he's close. He's close. Before he gets on that plane, come to Minnesota real quick. Yeah, I think he was drafted by the Chargers. I don't know. I'm not sure. Okay, so we got one right. Jalen Rager, running back 3. Nah, he's too small, man. Nah, he's not Cordero Patterson, but I do like what I saw in Rager in the preseason. It's looking like his route running is getting a little bit better, and that's all you need because I think he's more of a guy who can basically catch the ball, and get space. You know, I like that. I like that about him. But nah, Tony, he can't be running back 3. All right. That's a weird thing with me with Aaron Dykes because like we don't really know what's going on with Kane Wangu. Like we know that Jalen Rager is probably going to make the team. I feel he's going to make the team because he's looking like he can give you something on the offensive side, of the field or whatever, and he can, play special teams. But maybe Dykes does make this team if if Wangu can't play. Like we're gonna see what happens with Wangu in the next couple of days, and maybe Dykes makes a team just because of that right there. But I did like the way he was running the preseason too, though. Thank you, Holden. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, yeah, that's what I said before. The Vikings might be looking for, you know, somebody that's gonna get cut and they're gonna swoop in. But it's like I said before, it's weird now because it's like years ago, you would basically have cuts like, all right, there's 93-man roster. We need to get down to 70. We need to get down to this number. You're just going from this whole practice, training camp roster, 93 or so players, all the way to 53. So there's going to be a lot of players, you know, hitting waivers or whatever. So you're going to see a lot of teams do what New England did right now when they identify a guy. They basically going to say, like, okay, I'll just throw a 6th-round pick at that because I know for sure if I do that, I'm going to get him in the building. So we might see the Vikings do that with a player or two in the next in a couple of days. We don't know. But yeah. Anybody got anything else? Guess not. Guess not. Guess not. Guess not. Okay. Okay. My first live. I really appreciate everybody coming on here, with the questions, really appreciate it. We can give actual more football questions, not just Viking questions. But yeah, we're gonna close it out here and Skol.